Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? We are live tonight on James Unfiltered with James. How is everybody doing? Let me get things fixed up here while we're waiting. Good evening. How's everybody up there doing tonight? I'm going to read this disclaimer early, get it out the way here so we can get to the show tonight. Unfiltered with James Feeney is created solely for informational and entertainment purposes. The views and opinions expressed by the host, James Feeney, and any guest are their own and do not represent any organization, employer, or affiliate, past or present. Nothing discussed on this podcast should ever be interpreted as professional, legal, medical, or expert advice. Listeners are strongly encouraged to verify information independently and seek qualified professional guidance when necessary. This show is intentionally raw, direct, and unapologetic. If that makes you uncomfortable, this may not be the podcast for you to listen to. Listen at your own risk. Now that we got that out of the way, everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? Frank, how you doing, buddy? Everybody okay? I don't have Hazel here tonight, so I'm hoping I could see your comments tonight. If not, I apologize. So we're going to get this show started early here today, and I'm going to start off with our group's theme song here tonight for you to listen to. So let's get this song going. I hope everybody can hear the song good.
Try to bend me, but I won't break. I pay no mind to the noise they make. I keep my head, I hold my ground. Ain't no man gonna knock me down. They can swing, but I won't flinch. I was built for times like this. Talk your shit.
Just so everybody knows, this is the official theme song for the James Unfiltered podcast show. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay, everybody. So that's the official theme song for the James Unfiltered podcast show. That goes into our topic tonight. That's perfect for our topic. I want to read an opening statement here tonight. So bear with me a little bit. It's fascinating how people in Garfield Heights remember your past with Olympic level precision, dates, details, screenshots saved like heirlooms. Meanwhile, they can't remember the last time they evolved. They bring up who you used to be, like it's breaking news alert. Like, thank you for the reminder. I was there. I lived it. I survived it. You're acting like you uncovered a cold case when really you just never moved on. At least be honest. If the most interesting thing you can say about me happened 10 years ago, that says way more about your present than my past. Because people who are actually doing something with their lives don't have time to rehearse someone else's old mistakes. They're busy. They're growing. They're not looking Facebook memories like it's their job. But Garfield Heights has a special talent for this. Same people, same streets, same opinions, new year. Still saying, remember you used to. Yeah, I do. Remember when you were supposed to grow. Let's clear something up real quick. Bringing up my past doesn't embarrass me. It just tells me you ran out of material. That chapter is closed, highlighted, healed, and filed away. You're the only one still reading it out loud like it's a story time. And the funniest part, you swear you don't care. You care enough. You care enough to remember. You care enough to repeat it. You care enough to bring it up whenever you feel insecure, bored, or behind. That's not accountability. That's obsession with Wi-Fi. Garfield Heights loves to confuse growth with forgiveness they never gave themselves. So instead of changing, people just keep score. Instead of healing, they reminisce. Instead of leveling up, they point backwards and say, at least I'm not that. Baby, you're still right there. I'm not defensive about my past. I'm defensive about my peace. And I'm not explaining myself to people who think bringing up the old version of someone is a flex. If you need my past to feel superior, take it. Frame it, put it on the wall next to those high school memories you refuse to let die. I'll be over here doing what y'all hate the most, moving forward quietly. New episode of Wednesday James Unfiltered is for everyone who outgrew the block, the mindset and the conversations, and for the people who still stuck bringing up remember when, because they don't have look at me now. Growth doesn't announce itself. Staying the same needs an audience. And if this post feels personal, good. That means you're still watching from the past. You're on James Unfiltered right now. So last night, I had some interesting visitor come to my house. And it was quite interesting. How could I say this in a polite way? This person had the nerve to come to my house and complain about a post they said was made on them on Facebook. So this visitor, oops, sorry, let me fix that. This visitor was the mayor's girlfriend. The mayor's girlfriend comes to my house yesterday and she comes up our, and we got pictures of her on our camera, so I could show the pictures on Friday Folly, so it's no big deal. She knocks on it, well, rings our doorbell, and throws the whole house into chaos, the dog's going crazy and all that. And she asks me, why is someone, the Trash Boy's mom's, okay, why is she saying things about her on Facebook? So the mayor's girlfriend comes to our house to ask me about Facebook posts that somebody apparently says about her, but she has no proof to show me. So this was kind of funny to me, because to me she has more balls than the mayor does, because she actually comes to the house. Okay, I give her credit for that. She came to the house. So I told her, I said, look, I was polite about it, and I was being nice and cordial. And Haysha was in the background doing something, saying something else I won't repeat. But pretty much she was telling her, you know, pretty much like, what the hell are you doing here? Get out of here, you know, like that. So, so while she's whining, I should say, because that's what it was. She was whining about the mayor. I mean, not the mayor, but she was whining about the Facebook post allegedly about her from someone else. And I tell her, I said, I don't associate with the lady. We talk every so often, and I'm being nice. And I have nothing to do with this. Don't involve me. I said, if you have a problem with somebody, go to that person and talk to the person and ask them why they have a problem with you, so to speak. So she obviously can't do this. So I'm kind of like struck funny by this, you know, because it kind of like made me wonder, like, what kind of person does this? First of all, it's like, wait a minute here, you're going to somebody else's house. You're knocking on their door, you're bothering them, and you're asking about a post that I have no idea what it was about. She showed no proof about it. So, and your boyfriend is the mayor of the city, so it was kind of interesting, to say the least. So I told her, just go reach out to the lady and get it over with. Don't bother me. So tonight I'm going to make a special public announcement. And this is going to be very interesting. And I hope it pisses everybody off. Because it's intended to piss off everybody. Because that's the way I am. Make them all mad. I don't care. Here it goes, okay? If you plan on coming to our home for any reason, and you want to, whatever, I don't know what your intention is to come here for, but you're coming to our home and you want to cry about something, whatever your problem is you're crying about, I don't care. Like the song says, I don't care. This is my announcement to everybody, because I know it's going to get on Bring Back Garfield, Let It Be. To all of City Council, stay the hell away from my house. There's only 2 City Council members that are ever invited over to our house unannounced. Ward 7 City Councilwoman, Jen Neurons. Ward 5 City Councilwoman, Rochelle Thompson. If any other council person comes knocking on our door, I will call the police and have you arrested for trespassing. That is a fact. If you come knocking on our door, I will have you arrested for trespassing. If you are the mayor and you come knocking on my door, I will have you arrested for trespassing. Mark my words, I am not playing any damn games with anybody in this community any longer. If you are associated with the mayor, if you are his sister, cousin, I don't care if you're his dog. If you're on my property, I will have you arrested for trespassing. Try me. You think I'm playing games? Try me. I was nice to your girlfriend yesterday out of respect. If she comes back over again, I will call 475-1234 or I will dial 911 and I will file trespassing charges on anyone who comes on this property again. The only two people that are ever invited into this house or on this property are Councilwoman Jen Neurons and Rochelle Thompson. No one from the city administration is invited over to this house, ever. I don't care if you're coming here for a petition. I don't care if you're coming here to sell candy bars. You are not invited. You are not welcome over the Robles Feeney household, period. And if you think I'm playing games, I dare you to knock on my door. I am not playing games. Try me. That being said, I am not effing around anymore. She came over crying the blues. Next time she comes over, she's going to have to get bailed out. Be glad there's a bail bondsman right next to that jail, because I will have them bail her ass out. I am not playing games. You are not coming over this house disrupting my life. It's bad enough you haunted me all over Facebook for the last 18 damn months. You're not coming over to this house disrupting our life. I am not playing around anymore with you people. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Haitian. Everybody else in this city is welcome. Everybody's welcome. Except for those people on city council that I have not mentioned. Ward 7's welcome. Ward 5 is welcome. Everyone else is welcome. But the people that I have mentioned, the mayor, and the rest of those other people that are his cronies, you are not welcomed over. If you're his sister, you're not welcome. If you're Debbie Balls on the chin, you're not welcome. I don't care. You're not coming over this house. I will have you arrested. You want to try my patience? My patience are over. I'm not playing games anymore. Fuck around and find out. You're not messing with nobody anymore. You cannot come around and think you can do what you want to do on other people's properties, interrupt their lifestyle. I had enough. Yesterday was my tipping point. All this back and forth on Facebook between this person and that person, I don't care about that stuff. Don't involve me. Don't disrupt our life here in this house. Oh, Matt, you know, yo, Kim, you can come over. Matt, come over. Everybody else is allowed over. Everybody in the city, come on over. It's a party at the Feeney house. Robles Feeney household, come on over all the time. But everybody else knows, you know damn well who I'm talking about. Plain simple. You guys know who I'm talking about. Jody, you're invited over. Everybody else is invited over. I got a list of people. I will make a list and show everybody a list of people that I don't want over this house. Like I said, I don't even care if you're selling a candy bar, and I love chocolate bars. Oh boy, do I love chocolate bars. I'm not playing games. I know plenty of friends who are lawyers, and I will make sure they prosecute you and go after you. I don't care what they say. Like that song says, I don't care. I'm tired of waiting and listening to you whining about this person said this about me on Facebook. And she accused me of taking pictures of her and putting it on my Facebook page. Now, I do give her credit. She's got bigger balls than her boyfriend does, because she actually came and knocked on our door, well, rang our doorbell. So I do give her credit for that. Oh, yeah, Sue, I'm coming over your house, Sue. You know that. It's your birthday. I'm coming over, baby. Matt, I'm not, Kim, you're a troublemaker. Yeah, you're right. So anyways, this goes into our topic tonight. Hey, you guys like my ice hat? You know, I had to wear that in support of ice. You know, there's so many people criticizing ice and stuff, you know. I had to bring out my ice hat. I might wear it to a council meeting just for the fun of it, you know. And I did find out some interesting news. Even though he's the mayor and city council, you know, you can, by law, file a restraining order against the mayor. You like this mug? Came from Fin Feather Fur Outfitters. Fin Feather Fur Outfitters. They're a great place to go shop for your sporting equipment. Yeah, you can file a restraining order against the mayor of your community and city council. That's pretty interesting, you know. If I have to go that far, I'll do it. They keep pushing my limits, and they pushed me too far. And yes, it was actually my boiling point. But this goes into my topic for tonight. With this situation of ICE and the police department and everything, I have serious problems with this. Today, another group of kids left school and they were protesting ICE, and I don't even think they know what they're protesting. These kids are just going out there. They see everybody else do it. Maybe it's like a fad. Maybe it's like, oh, this looks cool. Let's do it. My vote is in for Friday, Matt. Matt's already voting, huh? Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't care. And you're right. He doesn't show his face in the city because, you know, that means he's going to have to answer questions that he don't have answers to. Plain simple. He's not like people like me who have answers that he'll talk. You know, I'm not afraid to talk to people. I met a great guy the other day, Sunday, at McDonald's. His name slipped my mind offhand. Great guy, bought me a coffee. We sat at McDonald's for quite a while talking. It was awesome. So, but anyways, so we were talking, I was looking it up, and I'm wondering why police departments let people get away with certain things. And it strikes me funny. So, I did some research, and I found out that we don't have like law or an ordinance, let's say. So if you don't have an ordinance in your city or anything that says you can't do something, or if you don't have a law or whatever, rules in your city, then you have to go by state law. Okay? So I looked it up. We don't have nothing that says in our city charter that says if you do this to the police or you do this to the police officers, you can be arrested for that. But anyway, so I looked it up on the Ohio law. So, I'm sure they have no idea what ICE is. You know, they don't. That's why I got this hat, ICE, immigration. You know, I like it. When you wear it downtown to the Chinese grocery stores, they kind of look at you all funny and they want to run away, like, you know. But here's some things I found out on the internet, and this is what I'm about. I like to research before I talk about things, okay? Here are some common actions that you can be arrested under Ohio law. Now, you can be arrested for some of these under Ohio law, okay? Because Garfield, you know, I love our police department. They do what they can with the resources they have. So I truly support them 100%. There's nothing I wouldn't do for our police department, okay? So this says, here are some common actions that you can be arrested under Ohio law, assuming the officer has probable cause that a crime occurred, meaning enough evidence to legally justify an arrest, okay? It says, laws vary, but these are examples under Ohio Revised Code, okay? So, here we go. Assaulting a police officer, okay? So, assaulting a police officer, everybody would think it's, you know, you put your hands on the police officer, that would be assault, okay? So, here's some of the classifications under assaulting a police officer. Hitting, pushing, biting, or any or other physical contact intended to harm an officer is criminal. This includes criminal assault on officers, and under Ohio law, exposing an officer to bodily fluids like spitting can qualify as an assault, depending on how the prosecution wants to charge it. So, if an officer is detaining somebody and they push them, they shove them, they spit on them or throw something. That's considered assault. Okay, now, yeah, Kim, get your damn citizenship and get it over with. You know, wheelie pop, all criminal mentality people protest law enforcement facts. Criminals don't like cops of any kind. You're right, they don't. But here's the thing. When you watch these protests on TV and people are crying, oh, ICE is picking on these people, and look what they're doing. That goes under the assault of a police officer. ICE is law enforcement officers. Okay, ICE is, you know, they're law enforcement. So they're assaulting the ICE officers, and the police officers, they're getting assaulted. This is number one on the list. So you do this, you get arrested. Don't go crying when you do something stupid like this, okay? I'll have mine. I'll show it on Friday. Right. Spitting. Yes, spitting is there, Ray. I read that. This includes criminal assault on officers and under the revised code, bodily fluids like spitting. That's there, Ray. That's really that's there. You know. So when they touch these officers, you put your hands on an officer. That's assault. Now that's a two-way street there. You can't put your hands on nobody. Okay, like an officer has detained you, you put your hands on him, that's an assault. Plain simple. If I'm sitting at McDonald's with my friends drinking coffee, and you come and put your hands on me, that's assault. So think about it before you do something stupid to somebody, okay? So not only is it an assault for a police officer, it is an assault on a resident or citizen also. Okay, so they're acting like everybody's innocent. We didn't do nothing. You can't lie with video footage. These people are assaulting these officers. Okay, the next one is resisting arrest. Now, resisting arrest, actively resisting or interfering with lawful arrest by force or even recklessly, like putting away or preventing handcuffing, is a crime. Basic resisting can be a misdemeanor. Worse if it causes harm or involves a weapon. Well, we ain't got to worry about it involving weapons because Garfield Heights has been involving weapons like crazy. So I looked that up. And it's like a little bit of a gray area there. So the other day we had a brother shoot and kill another brother in Garfield Heights. Okay? So we had the officers showed up and they gave him a lawful command of put the gun down. Now, you tell somebody to put the gun down, okay? And he don't listen. Is that considered resisting arrest? Think about it. He gave you a lawful order. He told you there was a weapon involved. He gave you a lawful order. He told you to put the gun down. You wouldn't listen. So can that be considered resisting arrest? That might be a gray area there. You never know. I would say yes, it is. So now if an officer is handcuffing somebody, and like ICE is somebody there, or police officers and these protests are trying to detain somebody and handcuff them, and another resident or another citizen or another protester interferes with this, and there's, let's say me. Let's say Wheelie Poppin is protesting in front of Garfield Heights Police Station or the mayor's office. Wheelie's out there protesting in front of the mayor's office, and the cops are going there to arrest him. And he's struggling, he's fighting. Okay, they're going to get him for resisting arrest. But I interfere and I try to help Wheelie get out of being handcuffed. So I'm also assaulting the officer because I'm putting my hands on him. And I'm also helping Wheelie resist arrest. So can I legally be charged with assaulting and resisting also? Because I'm also interfering, which leads to my third thing, which is obstruction. Obstruction official business, which is purposely preventing, delaying, or obstructing a public official, including police, from performing their lawful duties in an offense. It usually a misdemeanor, but can be a felony if it creates a risk of physical harm. Can be a felony if it creates a risk of physical harm. Okay, so Wheelie's sitting there and he's struggling, and here comes Jim, and I'm helping him out to resist arrest, and I'm helping to obstruct the police officers from doing their business. So am I guilty on 1, 2, and 3, the assault, the resist, and obstruction? These are questions you have to ask yourself, you know. Puppies want in. Yeah, puppies are down here now, Kim. So it's yeah, it is, Chris. It is best to let the police officers arrest you, even if you know for a fact they're wrong. It means a big payday for you. Yeah, Chris, I agree. Just let the officers arrest you. Let them do their job and get it over with. Stop playing around and let them do their job. Okay, and the fourth one is failure to aid a law enforcement officer. If lawfully called upon to assist in limited situations, failing to provide reasonable help can be a minor misdemeanor. Now, this one is very, very interesting to me. So, a while back, we had an officer in an altercation at the CVS parking lot. This was years and years ago. And he was detaining somebody. I don't know I can't remember the full story on this. So let's use Wheelie again. I'm going to use you again, Wheelie. So Wheelie is out there struggling, and he's got the officer, and the officer's pinning him down. And then all of a sudden, Wheelie's able to resist enough and get on top of the officer. And the officer is asking for help. And I'm walking by, and I see this struggle going on. So I hear the officer asking for help, and I walk away. Am I guilty for not helping? And Wheelie beats the officer senseless, sends him to the hospital, or whatever the case may be. But as a law-abiding citizen, I sit there and I support the police department no matter what city I'm in. It says failing to provide reasonable help can be a minor misdemeanor. I did not know this law until I looked it up and did research. So, man, fuck that. I'm watching, yeah. So, I go help the officer. Wheelie's beating him up. And I grab Wheelie and I get him off the officer. And together we wind up subduing Wheelie and get him handcuffed. But in the process of doing that, I break his arm. So now, who is in the wrong? I did what Ohio law says under the category of interaction with police and law enforcement. I did what the Ohio law says, and I helped the law enforcement officer. But in the process, I injured Wheelie. And now he could turn around and he could sue me. So now am I going to be protected by that law? So there's a lot of things you have to look into, is what I'm saying. The Good Samaritan law and stuff like that. There's so many things that you have to really, really look into. I find this category very, very interesting because I think this whole topic is very interesting. And I would hope personally anybody who sees a law enforcement officer no matter who it is, even if it's auxiliary, whether you like the person or not, that you would step in and help the person. I hope so. I personally would. But the thing is, you have to think. Yeah, I agree, Frank. I think I will be liable. And Karen, I think I am screwed. Because if I injured the person that's turned around and started beating on the officer, I think I am in serious shit. Do you think the police department is going to stand up and fight for me? The prosecutor is going to turn around and say, we're not going to prosecute you. You might get away with it, but he can still, his family or he can still sue you civilly. So there's a lot to think about before you get involved, is what I'm saying. I still do it anyways. I would still do it. What has Jody said? I would think the city or government would have to protect you for helping. You know, Jody, honestly, would you put your faith in the government? Poor Wheelie, I think he's hell fought for resisting. But seriously, would you actually put your faith in this government? I wouldn't. Lately, I wouldn't trust. I mean, our government, yeah, I wouldn't trust our city. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about, people. So, I also looked up, you know, with all the juvenile problems we're having in this city, civil suit all the way. You're right. Hazel's right. Civil suit all the way. I think Wheelie would have a hell of a civil suit. Because no matter what happens, you're going to get sued civilly, and he'll win. I think I'm telling my mom on YouTube, Wheelie, you know, since you're there, buddy, I'm going to have to mention your name anyways. So, so that was the stuff I was looking at today, or actually yesterday too. So, and it's all because of this ICE stuff that's going on right now. So anyways, let's continue with this. So with all the juvenile problems we're having in this community, even if you win, it's going to cost you a lot of money for lawyers and whatnot. Yeah, Frank, you're right. It's going to cost money because I don't think the city's going to provide you with an attorney and all that to defend you. The city's not going to care. This Good Citizens Law that helps to protect. Yeah, you know, the Good Samaritan Law, yeah, you know, but you're still going to have to go through a lot of shit over being a good person. You know, that's the problem. So now, with these juveniles, let's go on to this one. Public behavior and safety offenses. Okay, now these are, like I said, these are offenses that they're under Ohio Revised Code. Okay, assuming the officer has probable cause that a crime has occurred, you can be arrested for these, okay? Number 5 on the list. Public behavior and safety offenses. Disorderly conduct. We know we got a lot of that in this city, people. We know we got tons of disorderly conduct. You can be arrested for behavior in a way that recklessly causes inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm to others. Example, fighting, threatening, offensive noises, and language. And language. Wow. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine Wheelie and I sitting out in public in McDonald's and together, and we could get arrested for our foul language? That's amazing, isn't it? You can be arrested for behavior in a way that blocks others' movement in public. So these juveniles that are all gathered up on the sidewalk and they refuse to let you by, they can be arrested for that behavior. You can be arrested for behavior in a way that creates a physically offensive condition or risk. This covers a wide range of public misbehavior. Creates a physically offensive condition or risk. Well, that's a broad category. I looked into it, and there's a whole list of things. We could talk a week on this topic. But I like the blocks others' movement in public under disorderly conduct. Now, you gotta remember, you gotta ask yourself, why are Garfield Heights officers not arresting these kids for this? not just our officers, officers in all kinds of communities are letting these type of behaviors going. They're letting it just go. So you got to remember that. So let's keep going. This is a good one. We have a lot of this one. Public intoxication, disorderly intoxication. Being voluntarily intoxicated and acting in a way that annoys, alarms, or risks harm to others can lead to arrest under disorderly conduct. Can lead to arrest under disorderly conduct. Now that's the key phrase. Can lead to arrest. That's Ohio law. That makes no sense. I mean, it says it can lead to arrest. Now, if you're intoxicated in public, hold on a second. Let's see. The problem is, even if they do arrest them for that, they'll be out in no time. By the time they're done eating your hamburger at McDonald's, wheelie paper. You're right, Frank. You know, they let them go as fast. Before the fries are even cooked, they let these people go nowadays, you know. The problem is we don't, and that's why they do it. No consequences. You're right, Mike. No consequences at all. Juveniles get away with everything, and they know it. Yes, Hazel's right. They do know it. OVI, yeah. We'll get into that one too, Kim. So public intoxication. How many times you hear that people are drunk? And a lot of times I hear they get a ride home, and that's disturbing. We've heard several times, and Kim can verify this, that where the police officers drove the person home, whether they were a minor, a juvenile, I'm totally against this because of the simple reason that if you're giving somebody a ride home and that officer gets in an accident, they are now liable for that person in that car. That person who is in that car, if they get in an accident and gets injured, the city's getting sued. Now, is it worth it? No. What they should do, instead of taking a person home, is carry some free RTA bus passes, give them a bus ticket, and tell them get on the bus, Gus, and get a ride home. Because there's no way you should put them in the back of your car and give them a ride home. Because you are asking for trouble. I don't know why our police department does this. It's been mentioned several times over the scanner, and we posted it on the crime page several times, to where they pick somebody up. For an example, there was somebody who, they were following somebody one day, and they made a turn on Rockside. They stopped the car, no insurance, expired plates. They gave the lady a ride home. And she lives somewhere around 93rd miles or something like that. But they gave her a ride home. And that's the problem. So if something happens, this city's in some deep shit. And we can't afford to lose any more money. We're losing enough money under this mayor that we have now. We can't afford to lose any more money. Okay? So, the next one. Vehicle and traffic-related crimes. Driving under the influence, DUI. Operating a vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs is a criminal offense in Ohio, punishable by arrest. Punishable by arrest. Okay, now. That's the problem. How many times do we see, well, not see because we don't witness it, but how many times do we hear they get a warning? Yeah, Kim, courtesy ride. I hate that. Courtesy rides are nuts. You give them a warning. I don't like that. Arrest their ass. Get them off the road. Tow their vehicle. That's a topic I don't like. Drunk driving. I don't approve. It just drives me nuts because so many wrongs. There's nothing right to talk about DUI. There's nothing right that could come of that. Okay, let's go on to the next topic. Failure to comply, fleeing or eluding. Refusing to stop for police or fleeing from a traffic stop can be a misdemeanor or felony depending on the circumstances. Okay, now that's interesting because Kim's good at this. I give Kim credit for this one. Kim, you're good at this one. Whenever there's a chase, I call Kim the chase queen. Garfield Heights goes on a lot of chases. We do a lot of give up. They give up a lot. Oh, Hazel fixed it? Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, I can see comments now on TV. Okay. So, fleeing. So they're fleeing. They're eluding the police officers. Can be a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the circumstances. You know, I think that's a gray area there. The chase queen, Kim, yes. In my opinion, if you ask me, anytime you run from a police officer, whether it be in a car or be on a foot, that should be an automatic felony, an automatic one-way ticket to the jail of Garfield Heights. Whether they keep you or catch and release, who knows? It's up to them to decide that, but it should be a one-way ride to the police department automatically if they catch you. This, in my opinion, there should be no other way. You should just go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 here. Next category is theft, fraud, or property crimes. Theft, shoplifting. Taking someone else's property without permission can result in arrest. Can result in arrest. Now, that's Ohio. Now, this is all Ohio laws I'm talking about, okay? Theft and shoplifting. Taking someone else's property without permission can, that's the key word, can result in arrest. So, you shoplift, you're taking food from Giant Eagle, you taking food from Mark's, or whatever the case may be. It says can result in arrest. So, maybe it's if the store wants to prosecute, they arrest you. I don't know how that's going to actually work. But they don't pull over the pothead cars. You smell 200 feet. You know what, Mike? I'll get into that topic later on in this one. In this segment here. But yeah, so theft and shoplifting, we got a lot of that in our city. I know it's in other communities too, but we don't live in those other communities. We got tons of shoplifting in Garfield Heights. That's a big problem. Vandalism and criminal mischief. Damaging or defacing property is an arrestable offense. Damaging or defacing property is an arrestable offense. It don't say can be arrested. It says is an arrestable offense. So, if somebody damages or spray paints your car, your house, whatever, they damage your property, they are supposed to be arrested. Plain and simple, people. According to Ohio law, they are supposed to be arrested. Why are we letting these people go? They kick in your, what's that, knock, that door knocking the juveniles were doing? They kicking in your doors and leaving. They catch them, they're supposed to be arrested. That's damaging your property. Arrestable offense. So, if you follow the letter of the law so far in Ohio, our jails should be packed. Our jailers should be busy. Ding dong dash. That's it. Thank you, Kim. So, but they're not. Okay. Fraud or forgery. Using decent or obtained property or money, fake checks is criminal. Yeah, I don't think we really have that bad of a problem in Garfield Heights for forgery. So, I won't dwell on that one too much. Okay, serious crime, which is categorized as a felony. Serious crimes are considered a felony. Okay. Assault or aggravated assault. Causing or attempt to cause serious physical harm to another can lead to arrest as a felony. See, that's where that little gray area can lead to arrest as a felony. So, causing or attempting to cause physical harm to another can lead to arrest as a felony. So, We have a lot of assault charges you can hear on the scanner daily. We have assaults all the time. Why are these people not being charged? Especially when the officer asks if he should go talk to mom. Yeah. So why are they not being arrested? You're right, Karen. Officer asks if he should go talk to mom. Yeah. So under Ohio law, it says these people should be arrested for this stuff and charged with felonies. Is it? Well, I'll ask this next question after I finish this. The robbery and burglary, taking property by force or unlawfully entering with intent to commit a crime, is a felony. Drug offenses, possession, distribution, or manufacturing of controlled substances can lead to arrest and serious penalties. So, those are the top 14 categories that I was talking about. So let's ask ourselves this question, people. If under Ohio law it says these are arrestable offenses, or these are offenses that if the, what they say here at the beginning, if the, assuming the officer has probable cause that a crime has occurred, okay, why is our jails not packed? Okay, Garfield Heights, a do not assist list, and stores that won't prosecute should be on the list or charge $500 for the cops going there, wasting of taxpayers' money. You know what, Ray? I thought about that too myself. If these stores, I think that's a good idea. The stores that don't want to prosecute, they should be on a list so the cops don't even have to respond. Because they're called, let's say, let's use any store in Garfield Heights. Let's say, I don't want to mention the store because you know somebody's going to get this video. They're going to be, oh, he's saying this store and whatever. So let's say Jim's Restaurant, okay, gets robbed all the time. And Jim never prosecutes or never has the person arrested when they steal. But he keeps calling the cops. So he should be on a list saying, well, he never has them arrested. So then the cops should not have to respond, but they have to if he calls. That's the law. They have to do their job. But it should go down as a nuisance call. And we have a nuisance ordinance in the city. Nuisance ordinance does apply to businesses also. So why are they not doing that also? You know, there's a lot of businesses in the city. They call the cops. They don't do nothing, you know, and I kind of fault the business for not doing anything too. Anybody that causes damage to a business, steals from a business, they should prosecute automatically. There's an ordinance where the city can charge for their servers after so many visits. Yeah, it's under the nuisance ordinance, Vanessa. But they're not going to do it because they want to get reelected in this city. And we all know that. And that's the problem. So, in summary, in Ohio, you can be arrested not just for big crimes, but also for misconduct during police contact, resisting arrest, assault of an officer, disruptive or dangerous public behavior, which is disorderly conduct, intoxication, interfering with police duties, obstruction, driving offenses, DUI and fleeing, property crimes, theft and vandalism, and many other statutory violations under Ohio revised codes. Okay, and I got to read this clause that's here. It says the information is general and based on Ohio state statute. It is not legal advice. How a specific situation is charged depends on the exact facts and police prosecutor decisions. If you need help understanding a real charge, a licensed attorney in Ohio can give you accurate case-specific guidance. I had to read that to cover my own ass. So, but ask yourself, people, why are they not arresting these people because under Ohio law, it says they should be arrested. So that's the problem. Somebody has to be telling them, let them go. Who? Okay. So going on to this topic, I know we started talking about ICE, and I wanted to cover this other topic here because I have a problem with this, and I don't understand why our law department and our officers don't do anything about this one. And I heard today that they're trying to change the marijuana law in Ohio, I think it is. So let's go at it with this one. Ready? In Ohio, smoking weed in your car is against the law. Okay, in Ohio, it is illegal to smoke weed in your car. Even if the car is parked, you're not driving, or you're just a passenger. Now hear me out, people. If you see people are smoking weed, sitting in their car in a parking lot, okay, even if that car is not moving, it's against the law. Even if they're sitting in front of their house, smoking weed like my neighbors do, it's against the law. When the cops come by, like I had a vehicle one time and I called and I never saw this vehicle before, and I called, the cops came by, the guy opened the door and you could tell he was smoking weed because it looked like that movie Up in Smoke with Cheech and Chong. More smoke came out. I thought we elected a new pope, and it was unbelievable. I smelled it all the way in our kitchen, and that had to be 200 feet away. So they did nothing. So under the Ohio cannabis law, you cannot smoke, vaporize, or otherwise use marijuana in a vehicle, whether it's moving or parked, as part of the state rules governing cannabis use and transportation. The prohibition applies to all occupants of the vehicle, not just the driver. That means even if recreational marijuana is legal in Ohio for adults 21 and under, 21 and over, under state law, consuming it in a vehicle is still prohibited. So you're 21 and older, you're smoking marijuana, that's fine and dandy, whatever, do your thing. Keep it in your house, keep it in your backyard, do whatever. They avoid paperwork, yes. But if you're in your car, which we see all the time, and I know I see it all the time, they're vaping, it's that marijuana, whatever that is. They're smoking weed in their cars. And it says right there, you can't be in your car smoking it, whether it's moving or not. It don't matter whether it's moving or parked. You cannot smoke, vape, or vaporize, or otherwise use marijuana in a vehicle, whether it's moving or parked. And it goes for all occupants of that vehicle. People have to educate themselves on the law. You're only smelling Lysol, right? You got that right, Matt. So, people have to know the laws is what I'm trying to tell you right now. Understand the laws. I didn't know all this. I actually had to do research on the internet to find these laws. So unless you do the research, it takes time to understand this, and then you understand it once you do the research and read up on this. Okay? And you really have to check this out. It's fascinating, the information you can find. Okay, and under this category, it even says why it matters. It says, even if you're not driving while high, Smoking in the car can lead to police getting involved. And if you are driving, being under the influence of marijuana can get you charged with an OVI, which is operating a vehicle impaired, under Ohio's version of a DUI. So OVI. You go to the bars, you go to the stores, you see people smoking. Are you smell nothing but skunk, big time, Susan. You see these people and you know they're smoking weed, and yet wind up behind every skunk weed driver over the toe going down the street. You're right about that, Mike. You know these people are smoking weed. You see it, you smell it. If we could smell it, you know damn well the cop's going to smell it. Why are they not stopping them? And they have probable cause. They can do something. They can stop it. Look under the probable cause. I mean, that gives you a whole list of things they can use to stop them for this. So, like I said, do the research, people. It's very interesting what you find out. Under storage and use. This one I did not know. It says you can legally transport marijuana in your car within legal limits. I have to look what the legal limit is, but it must be stored properly, generally sealed and out of reach. Example, in the trunk or rear area, and you cannot open it or consume it inside the vehicle. So that I did not know, okay? So in summary, smoking weed in your car, whether you're a driver or the passenger, illegal in Ohio. Not allowed, folks. Smoking while driving adds risk of OVI, which is like DUI charges. Transporting it properly must be sealed, out of reach. Not illegal. If you want, you can break it down, potential penalties for smoking in your car while driving in Ohio too. So, I mean, there's so many things. So, my thing is for tonight, why are we not enforcing these laws, people? Ohio Revised Code 3780.36 of Ohio. That's Vanessa. Why are we not enforcing these laws, people? The laws are there for a reason, to protect us. Just like ICE, they're there to protect us. Garfield Heights Police Department is there to protect us. Whether you're Maple Heights, Bedford Heights, whatever. Whatever happened to daily check. You know, I'm told that having one of those sobriety checkpoints or whatever they're called now, I'm told it costs a lot of money to have those. I will look up the research on that one to find out how much it would cost to have it. But I'm told it costs the city money to put those on. I guess you got to get the extra manpower and stuff. I have no idea. But I would definitely look into that to find out. I know we've done it before. But like I said, we have to look into it. I definitely have to look into that, people. Because I'd be interested to see what the DCC would say about cops not enforcing that here. You know, Chris, I'm interested in that too. You know, I'm very, very interested in that too, Chris. I'd like to see what happens. I do know that Channel 19, we have a lot of followers on our crime page. From the reporters, and they do see the stuff that we post on the crime page, and they get involved and they see what happens. So they know what's going on in our community. It's just that, yeah, for anybody that didn't know, Department of Cannabis Control. Okay, it's they have to announce where they're having sobriety checkpoints by law. Well, Jody, I'm not sure. I would have to look into that, honestly. Are you saying that for a fact, though, Jody, that they have to announce it by law? Or you asking, do they have to announce it by law? I'm not sure. I would have to look into that. Remember, the laws are changing, so we don't know. Well, I don't know. I should say not we, but I don't know for a fact. I don't like this. They do, Jeremy. It's a fact. Okay, thanks, Kim. like I said, if I'm not sure of something, people, I'm not going to make a statement. Thank you for that. I'm not going to make a statement on something unless I know for a fact. I'm not going to make an assumption on something like that. But I'm glad. Thank you guys for clarifying that. It's nice to know that one, but I think it's stupid, honestly, that you have to announce where you're going to be. I'd rather say we're going to have one. I mean, honestly, if you're saying you're going to have a sobriety checkpoint at Garfield Boulevard and Turney, nobody's going to go that way, honestly. Hayes was right. It defeats the purpose of having it. So that's probably why, if it's going to cost money to have it, and you got to tell people where you're having it, it kind of defeats the purpose of having it, because nobody's going to go that direction. That's kind of a weird law. I mean, if you ask me, that's kind of really stupid. That makes no sense at all. We have to see the fine gray area in that one, so to speak. It just really is an odd law to have, to say, hey, look, they can stop people for avoiding. Yeah, they could, but if you're having it 2 blocks away and somebody pulls out of a bar and they see there's a checkpoint there, instead of going right, they make a left and go the long way home. You can't really stop them for that. They see it, or they know it's there, they go the opposite direction. I do know for a fact if they're driving it and they see it and they turn around and do a U-turn in the middle of the street, the cop can stop you. I saw that before. So that much I do know, Chris. But if you announce where you're going to have it, and everybody leaving the bar is going to go the opposite way, they're not going to go that direction if they're smart, But nowadays you never know what people are going to do. So, but the whole thing is with this, we have a list of laws here under Ohio Revised Code here that they're not enforcing, and that's the problem, people. We need to hold their feet to the fire, I guess you want to say, because we have to start holding people accountable for their actions. I'm not saying hold the law department, or not the law department. I'm not saying the police department for their. I'm saying we have to hold the lawbreakers responsible. I personally would rather see a jail full of criminals off the streets instead of a street full of criminals driving around. It's just not right. And I'd like to, there's got to be a way to change that. Okay. So we mentioned a crime group, and I do know there's a lot of people on here, but I wrote a statement about the crime group. I'm looking for it right now. Here it is. All right. Here, I wrote a small statement about the crime group for members that are here. I know they're on the crime group. And I just want to say this out loud so it's on recording. Here it goes. Let's clear something up, because apparently common sense didn't get the invite. The crime group is not here for your bad attitude, your conspiracy theories, or your need to argue with strangers on the internet. It exists so people in Garfield Heights can share information about what's actually happening in their neighborhoods. Not so a few bored adults can cosplay as commentators. If you join this group just to complain about posts, accuse people of lying, or turn every crime report into a personal database, congratulations, you missed the entire point. This Facebook fight club, this isn't a Facebook fight club, and no one is handing out trophies for being the loudest problem. And here, the wild part. No one is forcing you to be here. If seeing crime reports upset you, leave. If you think everyone is exaggerating, leave. If your contribution is, this city isn't that bad, while offering absolutely nothing useful, please leave faster. This group is for people who want awareness, accountability, and a safer Garfield Heights. Not for trolls, drama addicts, or professional complainers who never miss a comment section. We're not muting reality to protect your feelings. We're not babysitting adults who can't scroll past a post without starting an argument. We're definitely not letting a handful of noise drown out people who are genuinely trying to help their neighbors. So if you're here for information, respect, and community, welcome. If you're here to start trouble, there's the door. Don't let it hit your keyboard on the way out. I wrote that statement yesterday, and I wanted to read this out and have it recorded so people could play it, listen to it, or whatever. It's something that's important to understand. We have a lot of people that go on the internet and they want to bully people and they want to try to drown you out. Apparently, people in this city don't like to hear about the crime and the truth and the facts that are going on in our community. We know we have problems in the Garfield Heights. We know we have problems in all kinds of communities, okay? Facebook Fight Club, yep, you got that right. Don't feed into it. That's all I can say is don't feed into their BS. I've been tossing people out of the crime group left and right. I've been grabbing them by their ankles and their waist and hee-ho, bye, out you go. I'm not putting up with that stuff, just like I'm not putting up with these people coming to our house and knocking on the door, complaining and whining about what other people might be saying, allegedly, like Victor says, allegedly, saying about them on Facebook. The mayor's girlfriend coming over yesterday, Karen, whatever her last name is, crying about whatever somebody may have said or not said about, I don't know. Don't come over our house bitching about that stuff. I don't want to hear it. Just like on the crime page, we started that page. That page was created solely for information and, entertainment, so to speak, so people understand what's going on. Crime is not entertainment, but some of the posts are entertaining. Kim would understand that. It's just that the city is soft and it's not the city. The city is not soft. It's the administration that is soft. And because of the soft administration is why we're doomed. Does that make sense? We have a strong, vibrant city. We have a city that can be very prosperous, in my opinion. We have a soft, weak administration that's making us doomed. Does that make sense? We have an administration right now that's only worried about what's in their best interest. And that's the biggest problem. They can't get past the November election still. And that's a huge problem. When the administration says be easy on the people, that's so wrong, right? You're right, Kim. That is so wrong. Criminals don't care about your life or interrupting your life. Why should we worry about being easy on the criminals? There's got to be a way of putting a stop to this. And it all starts at the top. Every ship has a captain. The captain goes down with the ship. Look at Garfield Heights as one big Titanic. And you know what happens with the Titanic. On the Titanic, they had a band there playing the orchestra, violins, or whatever. We got one that plays a guitar. Okay? Well, attempts to play a guitar. So, you can't. Duty of care is a legal obligation, right? They don't care, Vanessa. That's the whole thing. They don't care. And that's the biggest problem. Perfect example. One of our videos from this James Unfiltered got out on BBG. and so-called, I don't even want to mention the guy's name because he just does it for the fame and glory, I guess. The guy named BW starts passing it around, starts talking trash, whatever. He's insignificant to me, or she is insignificant. I don't know who it is. You know, people have to hide behind these fake, phony names. It's just that we got problems, okay? I'm going to read one more thing before we get ready to call it quits for tonight. I know it's only Wednesday, but boy, seemed like it's a very, very long week here. We have a problem in the city. When one brother kills another brother, I'm the youngest of 11, 7 boys, 4 girls. And although I have disagreements with my brothers and sisters, I don't think I could ever cause anyone in my family any harm. Our city needs to accept the fact that we need to do something about mental illness. They need to provide some kind of mediation to try and nip this stop it before it starts. What did Barney Fife say? Nip it in the bud, you know. Yeah, Jody, it was a very, very long week starting Monday. It was. So I want to read something that really, you know, I mean, having all these brothers in this house, my house, and being the youngest of 11, 6 older brothers and 4 sisters, they looked out for me when I was growing up. And what happened, one brother killing another brother, really, really hurt. I mean, I felt it. I felt it because I couldn't imagine anything like that in my family ever happening. I lost 2 brothers. They died. One died a mysterious death. We don't know what happened. And the other one died, I think it was lung cancer. And this really, I lost 2 of just normal death, and that hurts. So bear with me on this one, people. I just wish Garfield Heights would do something about this. It really kills me. They need to come up with some kind of program to try to intervene, try to find out what's going on. Mental health awareness is an issue and certainly needs addressing. It is so silent in some cases. You're right, Jody, it is. So if you guys could bear with me on this, it might take me a little bit because I was really breaking down with this one. So you got to excuse me if I pause a little bit. Mental illness isn't something that lives somewhere else. It lives right here in Garfield Heights. On our streets, in our schools, in our homes, and sometimes behind the doors of people we pass every day and never really see. In a city like ours, where everyone knows everyone, just about, or at least knows of everyone, you think it would be harder for people to feel alone. But the truth is, it can be easier. Pride, fear, and stigma keep people silent. And silence is where mental illness does its most damage. We see the symptoms before we even name the problem. The neighbor who disappears, the kid acting out in school, the adult who seems angry, withdrawn, or overwhelmed. Too often we label them as problem instead of a person who needs support. That's where community relationships matter more than anything. Garfield Heights doesn't need more finger pointing. It needs more looking out for one another. Real community means checking in, not calling someone out. It means recognizing that today's difficult person might be tomorrow's crisis if no one steps in early. Mental illness thrives when people feel isolated, ignored, or forgotten. And let's be honest, too many people in this city feel exactly that way. When residents feel like no one listens, no one cares, and nothing else changes, hope starts to disappear. And when hope disappears, mental health follows. Strong community relationships can stop problems before they turn into emergencies. A conversation can prevent a breakdown. A neighbor can be the first line of support long before police, hospitals, or social services ever get involved. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. If we want a safer Garfield Heights, a healthier Garfield Heights, and a stronger Garfield Heights, we have to start treating mental health as a community responsibility, not something to ignore until it becomes someone else's problem. Because the truth is simple, people. A city that looks out for its people is a city that survives. A city that connects its people is a city that heals. And Garfield Heights is capable of that if we choose to be. Remember that. We have to choose to be connected to the people. Remember, mental health is a problem. It's going to take all of us to cure this problem and get involved. Yes, we should have a mental health page and dedicated to gain friends to talk to. Yes, exactly. I wrote that. It took me a while to get this started. I know a close friend of mine, he had problems and he took 800 Tylenol pills and he overdosed. This was a long time ago, and I lost a friend of ours that way. We missed the signs, and there was more than enough signs that he was giving out at the time. So mental health is a very, very big problem. And the bullying that is being done by the people of the city on Facebook, that is no help. And that's a problem, people. So if you're on the crime page, if you're watching tonight, I encourage you to please call your neighbors, check on your friends, check on your family. Ask them one simple question: how are you doing? Those kind words, how are you doing, can mean the world to somebody. Remember, thank you for watching James Unfiltered. And always remember, it's better to be the rider than the donkey. Tune in for Friday Follies. It's going to be interesting. Thank you for watching tonight, everybody. God bless you.